Welcome back to biology class. In the previous class, we discussed how the water is absorbed by the roots and conducted through xylem. One of the important forces that help in conduction of water is transpiration. Let us understand more about this transpiration in today's class. What is transpiration? Loss of water in the form of water vapors is known as transpiration. On the basis of the passages through which plants give out water in the form of water vapor, transpiration is of three types: stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration, and lenticular transpiration. First is cuticular transpiration. It is the transpiration which takes place through cuticle. And what is this cuticle? Cuticle is the multi-layered waxy deposit that generally covers the leaves of the plants. Even though it is impermeable to water, but certain amount of water can pass through it. The amount of water lost depends on the thickness of the cuticle. Next is lenticular transpiration. It is the transpiration which takes place through lenticels. Lenticels are the small openings in the bark of young branches, cork of woody stems, and fruits. Although very small amount of water is lost through the lenticels, but it is also very significant. Transpiration mainly takes place through the stomata, which are minute pores present in the leaves. The main function of stomata is to allow carbon dioxide to enter into the leaves for photosynthesis. It simultaneously functions to prevent excessive water loss. Loss of water vapor through stomata is known as stomatal transpiration. Maximum amount of transpiration in a plant body occurs through stomata. Children, the rate of transpiration is also not same all the time. It is affected by several external and internal factors like temperature, light, humidity, wind speed, and availability of water in the soil are the five main external factors on which the rate of transpiration depends. Temperature. The rate of transpiration increases with increase in temperature. High temperature favors evaporation of water from the leaves. Light also affects because stomata remain open during day, so the most of the transpiration takes place during the day. At night, the stomata remain closed, so very little amount of water is lost by cuticular or lenticular transpiration. If intensity of light is high and it is provided for a longer duration, then the temperature of the surroundings increases, as a result of which transpiration also increases. Humidity also plays an important role. With the increase in humidity, transpiration decreases. If the humidity is low, that is, water vapor present in the surrounding atmosphere is low, the transpiration is favored, means the transpiration is also more. Wind speed. Increase in wind speed increases the rate of transpiration. Availability of water in the soil. If less water is available in the soil, rate of transpiration decreases. As a result, the stomata will be partially or completely closed. Transpiration plays a very important role for the plant. Let's see how. Transpiration directly stimulates the absorption of water from the soil and exerts a negative pressure which pulls water upwards in the xylem. This is called transpirational pull. Transpiration also help in regulating the temperature of the plant body. The temperature of the plant rises as it absorbs energy from the sun for photosynthesis. Evaporation of water from the plant body helps in getting rid of the excess heat energy, thus preventing heat injury of the leaves. It also helps in absorption and transportation of minerals to all parts of the plant body and thus help in the growth and development of the plant. When cells absorb water, they remain turgid. This helps in maintaining the shape and structure of the plant body. Children, you must have observed water droplets on the margins of the leaves at night or early morning. I am not talking about dew. Dew is the atmospheric moisture condensing on the colder surface and is pure water. Whereas the water which I am talking about is guttation. Guttation is the moisture secreted from within the plant itself and contains xylem sap. But why it comes out? During the periods of low evaporation, such as early morning or at night, water droplets are observed around special vein openings called hydatodes. During such periods, root pressure is very high. Thus, water is forced up to the xylem and comes out of the plant body. This is the excess water that is collected, and this loss of water in the liquid state is known as guttation. Along with water, plants need a number of minerals for healthy growth. These are absorbed through the roots as mineral ions dissolved in the soil water. The minerals are required by the plants are divided into two categories: micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are the essential elements that are required in extremely small quantities by the plants. They include boron, copper, iron, manganese, zinc, nickel, etc. For example, the presence of copper is closely linked to vitamin A production and it helps ensure successful protein synthesis. Iron is essential for crop growth and food production. Like this, all the micronutrients are essential for the growth of the plant. Macronutrients are the essential elements that are required in large quantities by the plants. They play an important role in balanced crop nutrition. They include nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, etc. NPK salts are very important for the plant growth. For example, nitrogen is required for protein formation, phosphorus for production of energy, and potassium regulates the opening and closing of stomata. Lack of these nutrients can lead to various deficiencies. Following are some of the deficiencies due to lack of some nutrient elements. Let's discuss about the micronutrients first. Deficiency of iron can lead to yellowing of leaves. Similarly, the deficiency of manganese also can lead to yellowing of leaves with gray spots. Deficiency of zinc can lead to malformed leaves, yellowing of leaves, and stunted plant growth. Let's discuss some of the macronutrients now. Deficiency of nitrogen can lead to yellowing of leaves, retarded growth, wrinkling of cereal grains, etc. Deficiency of phosphorus can lead to delay in seed germination, poor root growth, purple and red spots on leaves, whereas the deficiency of potassium can lead to poor and stunted growth of the plant. So children, with this we complete our chapter Transport of Food and Minerals in Plants. Thank you and take care of yourself.